Hello, everyone. Um, just wanted to say a few words about the recent events that happened with the submersible Titan. I, like millions of other people, was very much. Um, I was stressed out for those couple of days. I was constantly praying uh, for angels to be around them and just everything, just thinking how they were struggling down there and running out of air. Um, you know, um, my condolences, of course, to the families and everyone that was affected by it. But I wanted to say a few things about it. And what I wanted to say, on top of, I just spent so many hours praying, for God to protect them and, comfort them while they were down there and to send, I was just really rallying for them. And I was disappointed and blessed, when I found out that they died instantly, more than likely, and they didn't feel anything. And everything you've watched, they didn't feel anything. And that, of course, is probably no comfort to the families, but maybe just a little bit, just knowing that they did not suffer. And that's what we were all worrying about. If they were down there struggling, running out of air, we didn't know what was going on. But I joined with a lot of people and just constantly just praying for them. So I felt a little, let down when I found out, that their submarine imploded or whatever. And that's before I found out that they didn't feel any pain. So really, God did answer our prayers. None of us wanted them to suffer, And of course, we can't tell God how to do what He does, and we just have to trust in Him. But this is what I believe, and I'm still praying for the families, and everyone involved. But I feel like at this point, the Titanic, what's it been down there like 111 years now? And, by recent footage from Ocean Gate, it is slowly just rusting away. I feel like, and this is just my personal opinion, I feel like that the Titanic should be left alone. Um, this is to me, this is like a sacred burial ground. So many people died there. And hopefully we can only hope they passed fairly quickly. I did see something that said that most of the passengers or a good majority of the ones that lost their lives didn't drown, but had, died from hypothermia. That's no picnic, boo-boo. But it was just a horrible event, one that could have been prevented. So I feel like if everyone could just leave it alone, and I'm a big science person, always have been, not math, but science. And I mean, I understand, people wanting to explore, and I'm very interested in the ocean. Everything about water and the ocean, everything revolves around God. The river of life, the baptisms, the 7 days that God made the earth, and how He separated the waters. Have you ever noticed so many times, like if you're feeling sick or anything, and you just even drink water, you feel better? Water is everything about God. So it is naturally, we're naturally going to be interested in things in the ocean, things that no one has ever seen. And I'm thinking maybe we weren't maybe we're not supposed to see, you know? I feel like the wreck, there has been other expeditions before this, and I realized they were wanting to see if they could, you know, just different things they learned about the ship, the Titanic, and the sinking that could help, you know, other ships to be built and things like, you know, stuff like having enough lifeboats. That you would think that would be common sense, but that was done basically out of vanity. They didn't want the ship to look bad. That's a strike against you right there, Bucko. But this is what was going around in my mind now. I feel like we've learned all from the Titanic that we can, and since now we have 5 other people that lost their lives, basically right there at the Titanic, or pretty close to it, and I feel like, you know, maybe we just should let this rest in peace, and I think they should stop going to the Titanic. Now, all the other submersibles have had proper testing and approvals and things. So, like the one James Cameron went down in. And there are several that have been down that really are a lot better prepared to do that other than the Titan. So, you know, if you've done any kind of research, then you already know that Stockton Rush, I mean, he was a brilliant man, an engineer. He went to Princeton. I mean, I think he had held more than one degree. He very much was intelligent and did know what he was doing. I can't help but to think, though, that with all the warnings that he had, what exactly was it that was driving him to ignore them? And even the dive previous to this one, I think, was the one they said they heard a crack in the hull. I think it was really bad that he didn't go through anything. I mean, they had their own testing, don't get me wrong, and things that they did, and I'm sure he believed that it was safe because he lost his life as well. But a couple of things that the Titanic and, of course, the Titan had in common, besides, you know, they were going down to see the Titanic, a lot of it has to do with wealthy people. And, you know, even on the Titanic, the lower class people that were in the bottom of the boat, you know, I didn't realize that they weren't even allowed, you know, they couldn't go in the upper classes dining rooms, they couldn't go in their lounges. It was very, very distinct between those who had money and those who didn't. And those who had money could, of course, have the finer things. That's against everything to do with, I'm not even going to say it. But then you look at the Titan, God rest their souls. I feel like, and this is just my opinion, that Mr. Stockton Rush got a little bit greedy. Even James Cameron most people were blown away by the fact that he charged $250,000 a person. Now, don't get me wrong, I mean, all those papers that they had to sign for anyone who went on a dive, it flat out tells you some pretty gruesome stuff there. It even tells you that this is a test submersible. You know, it hasn't been approved by anyone. It has no certifications. And you couldn't pay me $250,000 to go down in that. You know what I'm saying? And I very much am interested in the Titanic. Until I saw the movie, I didn't realize all the horrible things, that we had learned in school when we read about it. And then, of course, when you're a kid, you just do want to block some of those things out. But that's all that I wanted to say, is that I feel like Stockton Rush played God. I really do. And that's probably a horrible thing to say against someone that has lost their lives. He was, like I said, a very brilliant man. I think he got swept away by making so much money, because you figure if he took 4 people down and him, that's $1 million per dive. Now, I realize they were privately funded, and a lot of that had to do with no certifications, no approvals. But, I don't know. It bothers me. It bothers me that he didn't take into consideration his passengers. He may have reasoned with himself that, I give them all this paperwork to read, several pages, might have been 4, I don't remember exactly. And they are told everything. So, and the people that go down are privileged to be able to, because most of us can't afford $250,000 or even $250 to go down to the Titanic, even with a great interest in it. I certainly don't begrudge any adventures, like people climbing mountains, skydiving, all those things people do, and there's risk involved. It's just very sad that this could have been prevented. And, all the video that they're pulling up of, like, Stockton Rush now, I mean, he just seems like the nicest guy, but he was bragging about, well, I broke the rules, I don't think that's something you should brag about, but he was very proud that, because he was breaking new ground with new things you could possibly make submersibles with, but all kinds of people that had experience, and engineers and all kinds of people were warning him that this was not safe and that he should not be taking people down in it. But I guess he figured, he was covered legally if something happened. People knocking on him for the controller, which is my understanding is actually wasn't really a big deal to how you operated it. But I don't know. They literally, gave their lives for this, and he's the one that decided whether they would live or not, really, because he's the one that was responsible for making sure that the submersible was up to snuff. So I don't want to keep going on about it, and no offense to any family member of his or anything. I feel very bad for you, because I feel like as time goes on and more things come out, more people will blame him. I was shocked that there wasn't anyone that could stop him. But I guess, I just don't understand that. How you get away with endangering people's lives without anyone monitoring you or whatever. I don't understand how that happened. But it was definitely preventable. And I think greed probably got a hold of Stockton Rush. He was trying new things, and it would have been great for him and a great breakthrough had it worked. But no one seemed to think it was going to be, a good outcome eventually. So I definitely support people you want to live your dreams and you've got the money and you want to pay for something like that. That's fine, but just make sure that it's been checked, that it's safe. I saw just some of the videos where, and he was saying, the lights can go out. This can stop working, this can stop working, and you're safe. And we all knew that there was really only two scenarios as time went past. And they hadn't surfaced. And they even had those sandbag things that dissolve after so many hours in the water. So, they were either trapped on the ocean floor, and I kept thinking maybe they dropped down into the Titanic, and or they imploded. Now, it does aggravate me that the Navy, they supposedly heard that, picked that up on their sonars around the time that they quit communicating. I'm not sure what happened with that, but I guess it's just everyone had hope, and you have to at least try to find them and see. But I was heartbroken when they found pieces of it on the floor. I was heartbroken for the families and all the workers that had put in all those hours to try to save them. I wish they could have been saved. But my main thing was, I really didn't want to put anybody down. But my main thing was, let's just let the Titanic and all the people that gave their lives, let's let them rest in peace. The Titanic went for so many years without being found. I think they found it in 1985. I think that's when it was. So it was down there several years. I really don't think it was probably meant to be found. And when I saw they were bringing up pieces of the Titanic, I didn't like that. I felt like, I feel like you're going into a cemetery and dragging up somebody's headstone or something. I think it should be respected. And you can see over all the footage, shoes. Those shoes had people in them. That's why you see, and depending on whose footage you look at, there's several shoes that are like right there together. Like you can almost picture somebody in those shoes. And just my opinion that let's just let the Titanic rest in peace. It was a horrible tragedy. We have had plenty of opportunity to learn from it. We've already took many things from it, which, maybe we shouldn't have. But let's just let it rest in peace, because we don't need the Titanic collecting any more people down there, So, God bless everyone and bless their families. And may they rest in peace. Oh, I did want to say something. I was watching some reels on Facebook, and it was a TikTok video. I'm not sure how all those reels and stuff intertwine. And this person was claiming that this is a voice recording of the Titan. And, you can hear somebody screaming and banging on something saying, "Don't leave me down here," or something like that. And I have a pretty high suspicion that, I'm sure that this is fake. So please don't spread that around. If something came across that was verified, but there's no way that tape is real. They imploded. And if it went, I can't see, they were saying a little hole as big as a hair on your head, as little as that is, and it just bam. So there's just no way that that tape is real. And I think it's very cruel of someone to do that. Obviously, I don't know how TikTok works, but I think, they're just doing it to get views or get people to follow them or whatever. And I don't approve of people using all that fake nonsense. Putting something in the title and then you click on it and it's nothing to do with that. They just wanted your click. So, anyway, hope everyone has a nice day. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning here, so I've been wanting to make this video. God bless you all, and try to be mindful of each other, and may we learn from our mistakes.